Okay.
Let me know when you're there, when you see it. It's just setting it up still.
And we're live. Welcome to the podcast Living by Oak Values. My name is Robert, and I'm here today with Gary and Gary's brother Matt.
So, for the last 2 years, we have been laying the foundation together, brick by brick, root by root. Since September, we have dug into the inner foundation and explored masculinity and relationships. And now we have entered the final series of 2025, Wholeness and Integration. Today's theme is becoming whole, not perfect. And the question we are asking is this: what actually makes a man whole, and what makes him chase perfection instead? Because growth isn't always about adding more to your life. Sometimes it's about slowing down, looking underneath, and being brutally honest with yourself without shame. We're not here to perform progress. We're here to test the ground we're standing on, get real about what's holding us together and what's quietly pulling us apart. Because real development isn't linear, it's layered. And the deeper you go, the more you find old habits hiding under new language, or pain dressed up as purpose. Today, we are stripping all of that back and digging into the truth of who we are, flawed, human, and still becoming whole. Take it away, Rob.
Good job, Gary. That was
Thank you.
amazing. And the
Thank
main
you.
point to take away from that is
Welcome.
being whole doesn't mean you have to be perfect.
You got that right. Absolutely.
It's a one-liner, not a whole paragraph.
I got it.
Would
That's
you like
good.
to
That
introduce our
was
guest? Because our
almost
guest
funny.
is,
I will.
yeah.
So today we've got someone really special joining us. My brother, Matthew Hults. So Matthew's from down in Orlando. He is a pretty positive guy, but that positivity wasn't handed to him. It was forged. He faced and overcame more obstacles than most people see in a lifetime. And he has rebuilt himself more than once. He's a father of three, a man who has learned to grow through his flaws instead of hiding from them, and someone who has earned every bit of strength and humility that he carries today. So, Matthew, I'm grateful that you're here. So let's get into it.
Joe, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
Benefit.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
So,
Gary,
yes,
Joel says you're sounding better.
I am feeling a lot better. Thank you.
And Cliff says, what's up?
What's up?
Something 100. Oh, 200. What's up, 200?
Kristen said she's waiting in the room. I don't know what that means.
What is she trying to get into the Zoom call? No.
I just
Well,
sent them.
anyway, nevertheless,
Anyways, sorry. Back to the conversation.
yes. So, Matt, growing up together, we have been through a lot together. I don't know. We got a weird text. Anyway, we've been through a lot together. Oh, that's you. I can do it. I can do what?
Oh,
All
that
right,
was you.
Matt.
All right, Steph. Don't play with the phone.
I'll ask the question. When you hear the phrase whole instead of perfect, what stands out to you? What does that mean? Whole instead of perfect.
Whole instead of perfect. Um, no one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. But being whole is about being as perfect as you can be, I think. Um, but I don't know. That's my take on it. No one's perfect, but you as long as you feel whole because you're doing the best to be, as perfect as you possibly can be. That's what it's about, I would say.
Nice. Nice.
So, what does it mean to you, Rob?
So I like Matt's answer. It's kind of like the best that you can be, but I also feel like whole isn't meaning complete, but whole means that you're that you're together, because it's like your Swiss cheese. There's holes inside of you that are not perfect, but in a sense, you make up this wonderful flavored cheese. But there's still
Okay.
pieces inside of you that are not there or that are not correct. Um, it is whole, but not whole.
Okay.
In other words,
Sure.
you're not perfect. Yeah, but perfect would be like a pristine cheese with no holes inside.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of different meanings to the question can be answered in so many different ways, because becoming a
So,
whole is also about, progressing as a person and, you know, choosing not to be the person that you used to be, you know.
mhm.
So it can be answered in so many different ways.
Well, I think that perfection isolates you. If you say you're perfect or believe that you are perfect, people actually probably look down upon you. And when you own your flaws, it allows you to focus on those flaws to grow and to connect with others. Like, I am not perfect. This is where I fall short, and that area that I fall short might be an area that you excel. So together, we can work to become better human beings. Not perfect, but better, more whole.
That you can't be whole without accepting your
Right.
flaws and facing your flaws, because then you're not whole if you're still, a person filled with flaws that's not even facing them or trying to attack them head on.
Yes. So, but if
So you're
you
right.
also, once you own those
Great.
flaws, what do you do with them?
That's a good question. You're a coach. What do you do with them?
You have to take them and you have to figure them out. You have to work on becoming better. You have to accept the flaws and
Yes.
grow. Take the
Yeah.
steps to grow. Whatever that's, if that's reading a book, if that's hiring a coach, if that's watching a movie or meditating or whatever it might take to understand that flaw, where the flaw came from, and move through it and grow. So
Like that
that's
answer.
my thoughts.
All right.
Oh,
So
so we have some comments while we got a break.
go for it.
Joel said is what is perfect? Nothing's perfect. Only perfect in a sense that it is the way that it's supposed to be in the moment. Being whole means you are a version of being perfect, like the cheese analogy. Thank you, Joel. I know it was a good cheese analogy.
Glad
And
Joel liked
we
it.
have Christopher. Awesome. Nice seeing you, Chris. Shout out to you, big man. Define whole. It seems you always be a never ending battle with the values and others' expectations. And Joel says, I think that makes sense.
So to Chris, I think that you seem like in that, I could be wrong, but in that, what you're asking, you are trying to be whole in somebody else's eyes. And that does not matter. You need to be whole in your own eyes. So with your own expectations. So anyway,
Literally.
so I want to share. So growing up with Matt, we're 2 years apart. It was hard growing up with him because I was always the better looking guy. Now I remember
Second rate.
one thing that I remember from being a child growing up with you was that you were always the athletic one. You were always. I remember, when we got weights for Christmas one year, you got the bigger weights, I got the little weights, and I was older, and I always felt like, man, I need to be more perfect like you. Like I strive to be more like you when I was that age. So yeah, so that's where I think maybe striving for perfection started. Maybe that I can think of. That's my earliest memory of striving to be someone that I was not.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I feel like a lot of my childhood was, the scoreboard was meant a lot.
Mhm.
I feel like, grades, sports, behavior, like there was always like an invisible judge taking notes. So those were always, always, well, for both of us. Not that it's a bad thing; it's a good thing.
No, it's absolutely a good thing. And it's like, because I look at my daughter and she doesn't have that sibling to strive to be better than or to guide, if you will. So yes, it's like a double-edged sword, sort of. Like, so I thought I wasn't perfect or good enough because you were younger and you had the bigger weights. Uh, and you were on all the sports teams, and I didn't do any of that stuff. But it's good because it drove me to try to be better. So, and it looked like Amity, she doesn't have that. She can go against her friends, but she doesn't have that at-home competition to grow.
Which is like, uh, who knows who we would be without that?
Yeah,
Totally
absolutely.
different person, 100% different person. If we didn't have that growing up,
Yeah,
we would definitely not be the same people we are today.
yep. So, Rob, what do you have any insight on that since you had a brother or have a brother?
I do have a brother. Yes.
So, do you have an insight on being perfect or trying to be like him, or he was trying to be like you, or anything along those lines?
Mm, my story was opposite, I guess. He was. Mm, we were not the same at all.
Mhm.
We didn't do. Besides my grandmother buying us shirts that matched, we
Yeah.
were not the same at all. We didn't even look the same. Like you and your brother looked the same. We didn't even look the same. So we didn't act the same. We didn't look the same. And the only thing we did together the best was argue.
Okay.
So
We did that pretty good.
Yeah, we used to have full blown out like fights in that
Yep.
room
Yep. I remember those
until
days.
until it was too loud, and then we got yelled from downstairs, and we were like,
Yep.
"Oh,
Yep. Absolutely. Good stuff.
yeah, yeah." You hold no bars, man. I know that. I always knew that didn't matter if you played sports or not. If you were around, like if anything ever happened, and I knew you could scrap because we've been scrapping for a long time.
Yes. Yep. Well, yeah. I get. I mean, I don't know if I can still scrap in my old age, but yeah. I guess if I had to
That
throw down, I could.
was, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it was. So.
Then we also had, our dad cast a big shadow. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
it was so there. It was that whole recipe, shapes you for who you are eventually going to become.
Yep.
I don't know if that was the beginning of the question or not, but
No, well, Rob has a question to ask, and that would roll into that if Rob wants to go to question 2 in red over there.
I do, but I want to make Joel's comment is how would you guys see each other presently? How do you see brother to brother? What advice would you give as encouragement would you give?
oh, we give each other encouragement every day. And if I need encouragement, I know where to get it from. I try and be the same for him, and it's always been that way.
Yeah, I think, and the encouragement comes in different ways when it comes to brothers. I think sometimes it's letting him know he's an idiot or that he's done something stupid, but it's
It's more,
also on the same page. It's letting him know that he's done well and that was a good idea and that was a smart move, whether it's with him or his son or his daughters, whatever. Like it goes, it can be sarcastic or serious, but we do encourage each other on a regular.
and it's important to have that, the genuine feedback that no one else is going to give you, the realness. Not like I don't feel like your own brother would.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's it. That's good. Go to the question, Rob.
So growing up as the Holt boys, what pressures around perfection or performance do you think were taught to you really early on?
Well, like Matt has just said earlier, like my dad, he cast a big shadow. He was a strict man, so I think a lot of pressures that we had were on being well behaved or giving the impression of being well behaved. So I think that was the biggest. I think that was my biggest pressure was, trying to be well behaved, but also trying to, one up Matt. So how about you, Matt?
No, you said it exactly. I mean, it was there was a big shadow and a strict one. We grew up structured, and I think we were all of the important uh, qualities that people should have were instilled in us, pounded us at a young age.
Yes.
Um, I mean, anything and everything, and thank God for that.
It's funny because you look back and how we were raised, and I remember Dad saying, "You can't wear high tops because those are for thugs." And I'm like, "What?" And this sucks. I want a pair of high tops. But now that I'm a dad, I look at what my daughter wears sometimes. I'm like, "You're not wearing that." So it's like everything that both him and Mom, that they instilled in us that we were like, "This is ridiculous." I'm doing the same thing right now. So
You don't realize it.
yeah. So I truly appreciate the way that we were raised. As much as a kid, I thought it sucked. Just
Yeah.
in Rob and I had a discussion today, about my daughter going to church with me, and she's giving me some pushback. And I remember never wanting to go to church with Mom. I had better things to do, and we were forced into it. And now I'm a regular churchgoer now. Is it because of her? I bet she had a lot to do with it. So
I'd say so. And
yeah,
that was forced to go to church. We didn't have, there was like,
there was no
no,
choice.
church. It was like, hurry up and get ready. If you're not ready, too bad. Tie your shoes in the car. We're out of here.
Yep.
And then if I wanted to go surfing or something, it was like, you guys didn't mow the lawn. We'd have
Yep.
to race through the yard with a lawnmower just so we get to the beach because we didn't mow the lawn at the church. So I agree. I feel, especially in the past, I don't know, this past year,
Mhm.
with learning more about the Bible and getting more involved, and with that, I feel like Mom definitely has something to do with it,
Mhm.
even though I'm not following down that exact same path.
Sure.
It definitely has something to do with it, and it's you always want to follow your mom and dad, right? Because they know best, and right,
Right.
so
But is
if
that okay? Go ahead. Sorry.
if it works for Mom, why would it not work for me?
Sure. So by following right down Mom and Dad's same exact path, is that striving for perfection? Or if you just take that road and maybe veer off slightly but ride parallel, are you becoming whole? You don't have to be exactly who they are, but you want to take their guidance
That's
and do the
it.
best that you can.
I'm not. I'm. I'll never be exact, but I can take that what I was taught and run with it in
Yeah.
my own, by whatever way is me.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. And yes, Joel, you are a thug. Sorry, looking at the comments.
Yeah, because you got them fancy high tops. We had one pair of shoes in the beginning of the school year, had to last all year.
I remember getting
No,
the fake Adidas's.
no way we were getting $200 Nike high tops. We
No.
want to pay less shoe stores where the bottoms, like everybody know, because you could hear you walking down the hallway.
Yep.
So quick little thing. I remember growing up, we were playing stickball. I think it was in the street, and I had my brand new knockoff Adidas on, and I slipped and fell. And I was so mad because it was the shoe's fault. And that year, I got my first pair of real Vans. I was so excited. I'll never forget those. They were suede. They were nice. I like those.
Where'd you get them from?
Uh,
Germany?
I guess Mom, but I think it was Santa Claus.
Mhm. Okay.
Mm.
So yeah, Anyway, what's your next question there, Rob? Before this turns into just
Oh,
me and my brother shooting the shit, shooting the
well,
breeze.
no, yes, please. Miss Paula Holtz is watching,
I know.
so
I just saw
she,
her. I know.
so
Hopefully she's
please,
late and you'll
yeah,
bad things I said.
yeah. So I know a lot of times I used to shoot for perfection in things, and it used to take me so much longer to make something perfect that
Okay.
it would almost drive me crazy how long it would take to get something perfect. It's not perfect, I have to do it again. And it's not perfect, I would have to do it again. Um, and I noticed, like, when I become a father, that it is something I had to release control because was like, wow, my kids aren't perfect. How can I expect them to be walking perfectly, do math perfectly? And it was just like something I had to drop. So when y'all became a father, do you feel like you were pressured to be perfect as fathers?
Go
Every
ahead, Matt.
father, I think that that's a natural reaction, right? You know, you want to be perfect. You want your kid to be perfect, the best of the best. You want there to be nothing wrong. And I think every one of probably our parents wanted the same thing. As soon as the second we were born, we want the perfect baby. Everybody does, but you know, we understand because we've been around longer that perfection doesn't exist, but perfect is, you know, how you see it. And as long as your kid is perfect to you, what else matters, right? And they're
Yeah.
healthy.
So that's one way of looking at it. But I think it was more about you trying to be perfect, is what he was asking. And I don't think I was pressured to being perfect when I became a dad, but I wanted nothing more than perfection. And I think that's when I first actually started looking back at how I was raised and trying to take in every lesson that I might have forgotten to try to hone it and create it into my lesson that I was going to give to my daughter. Realizing that that was impossible. Like, as much as I wanted to be the perfect dad, only thing I could do is do what my dad did, and that is be the best that he could be. So nobody's perfect, but we do. The pressure, I think it's internal pressure. I wanted, no one said, Gary, you got to be perfect. You got to be the perfect dad, or this is going to just be all screwed up. But in me, I said, I want to be the perfect dad. I want to be better than my dad. I want to be better than any of my friends who are fathers. But I realized that most everybody is just doing the best that they can do. And that's all we can do.
Amen to that. I agree,
Yeah.
100%. Everybody wants to be the best dad. I mean, if you don't, then something's wrong.
Right.
But you know, everyone's life circumstances are so different. So it's everyone's path is so different. But at the end of the day, yes, you can only do the best that you could possibly do to
Mhm.
raise the best human being that you possibly can,
That's it.
hoping that the human being is better, a much better version than you were.
And that's just the hope. You can only do the best that you can do, and it's in their hands.
And that's reality.
So, but yeah. So, Matt, tell me about a time or a season in your life where trying to be perfect actually broke you.
Multiple times that's happened to me.
Okay.
And yeah, like you said, you know, it's everybody is striving for perfection, whatever that perfection may look like in their eyes. And what was the question again? My striving for perfection, what?
Tell me about a time in your life when you were trying to be perfect, but you were trying so hard to
Yeah,
be perfect that it broke you, where it wore you down till you had nothing left.
there's numerous times, and all issues which needed to be addressed clearly. But I don't know. I think a lot of those, when I found myself in those situations, it was because of me and maybe commitment issues. That's probably the biggest thing. I don't know. But I don't know what I don't know what kind of answer to give you.
Okay, fair enough. So for me, like, so just to, I don't know if this will help you or not. You don't. We can move on to this, but like, so for me, I think that my biggest thing trying to be perfect was when I was in the restaurant business. I wanted food to be perfect. I wanted when, if somebody was coming to review the restaurant, or if there was a magazine or food channel was there, it had to be perfect, and I was willing to do whatever it took, and I did. I always did, and it got to the point where it was killing me, absolutely killing me, where I went down roads that I don't ever want to go down again. So that right there to me.
Break you.
Hmm?
How did it almost break you?
How did it almost break me? Because I didn't have my life. I did everything I could for other people. So it was like people pleasing to the max.
Yeah.
And then when I had my cooks, I had them do exactly as I had said, because I'm in charge. This is how I want it done, and it wasn't done perfectly or to my standards. I would get down on them, and then there would be pushback from them, and now I'm trying to deal with being reviewed by somebody and dealing with cooks pushing back on me, and I got a girlfriend at home or whatever, and the restaurant business definitely broke me. So that's me.
Control what we can only control what we can control, right? I mean, if
This is
it's
what I know now.
yeah, I mean, all that stress and years of your life worrying about something you couldn't control, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
you had to go through it to realize that.
Yes.
Like many other things in life.
Absolutely.
So, y'all have been broken by events in your life.
Mhm.
How did you become whole? Or how did you realize what whole was in your life?
Mhm. Matt, you go first. This might take me a minute.
You got this one. You got it. Go ahead.
So it took a long time between after I left, fancy restaurants. I got married, and it was the same thing. I tried my best to be the perfect husband. Along with running restaurants and having good numbers and just doing everything I could. I tried so hard to be perfect, and I was not whole until my divorce. Until I sat in my own stench and realized that I was the one creating the lack of wholeness, where I had to find my flaws and actually look at them, look in the mirror, look at me, at my flaws, and say, I need to overcome this. And I did, by the support I've had from family and friends and God, that I have become whole. And every day I strive to be a little bit more whole. I will never be perfect.
You,
But I'll always be more perfect than you. So that's all that matters.
hey, that's all that matters. Yeah.
So, Rob, do you have an answer to that or no?
Right.
Do you have an answer to when you realized that you had to be whole?
Yeah.
So my
I mean,
answer isn't that. Oh, is it Matt or is it
Either,
Robert?
I don't care. Either one of you guys. Fire away.
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
you got to go.
Oh, my answer is a little different. Um, because you're looking at perfection is like that is a flag to get to.
Mhm.
And being whole is self-acceptance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me up until recently where I had to say that uh, the famous line, I am who I am, the one
Yes.
you like with Popeye, I am
Yes.
me,
I
me
am what
am,
I am.
whatever.
Bam.
Yeah. It took me very long until I had to realize that we are not meant to be perfect, but we are whole.
So how did you realize that?
It is hard to realize. It's hard to realize that you have to put down the the flag to shoot for a goal of perfection and
But
to
you're there
accept
now.
yourself as you are. Yeah.
So, but how did you? What was the kicker that got you there?
Oh, it was after my divorce. What was the kicker? There was a few kickers, but I think it was on top of the mountain that I realized I had to close the last chapter in my book and start anew
Okay.
in Asheville, I think it
Mm.
was.
Okay.
I stood on top of that mountain with a bunch of other guys and I said, I have to close this chapter and start a new chapter.
Okay.
Knowing that I have to start that new chapter with Robert as a whole, with all my experiences, with all my stakes, with all my scars, and I have to use that as who Robert is and move forward. That I will never be perfect.
Okay. So Cliff has a question, but I want to say something real quick on that. So for me, it's when you are burning the candle at both ends, striving to be perfect, and then realizing that you are trying so hard to be this that you're not showing up for the others in your life. You're not showing up for you. And really, as perfect as you think you're trying to be, you're nothing because you're not there for the people that want and need you. And I think that's what really kicked for me. Like, I wasn't there for my daughter the way I wanted to be. And I definitely wasn't there for my ex-wife the way I should have been. So I think that those two things, when I realized that I was not even showing up because I was trying so hard to be perfect in my mind, that was my kicker to realize that I need to be whole. So it was a pain point that helped me grow.
I agree with you. I think that, you know, most of my battles that I went through came from trying to carry everything alone, pretending I was fine and numbing whatever hurt too much to face.
Sure.
So that's, uh, that's how you get lost. It's not in one moment. It's like in 1,000 quiet ones that you get lost. So, but yeah, I agree with what you said.
Yes. So Cliff says, so define what perfection is. If we won't ever be perfect, what is perfection? And who decides what it is? That's a good question, actually. I would say that perfection, in my opinion, perfection is like we talked about before this recording or the live, was that it's your legacy. It's what do people say about you and how well you did after you're gone. That's my take on it. So
Yeah. Well, perfection isn't about becoming a perfect man either. I think it's more about becoming a present one than a perfect one.
yeah, yes, because like you'll never be perfect. So the presence is what counts. You need to be present. You need to show up for yourself and show up for the ones that are important in your life.
Yeah.
So Rob, you there?
Yes, I mean,
Why do you think that men often get stuck in performance mode versus being whole? What forces us as men in general, and I don't know, I can't speak for women, but for men, like we all, I feel like, try to be perfect. Why do you think that is?
Why do we always try to be perfect? Because it's an ideal more than a reality.
Okay.
When we say we want to be perfect, it means that we have no flaws, no weaknesses, no mistakes, no rough edges, and, and we're the ideal human being. And it's like we want that so that we don't have to grow, we can relax, we can take it easy. It means nothing has to be improved or nothing needs to change.
Hmm. Okay. I get that.
But I think it puts us under a lot of pressure for doing that, though.
It absolutely does. And that's what breaks us.
Yeah.
So, Matt, what is your thought on that?
I think it's natural for most men. It's like it's our alpha-ness in us to be the protector, the provider, the all of the things, to be perfect. You got to be perfect,
Yes. To
As
save
a,
the princess, as Mario would say.
that's it. You got to be able to save the princess, but you can only be as perfect as you can be.
True. So, hey, so Rob, Cliff wants to know. I'm not perfect. Perfect is a limited belief, which I can agree with that. Wait. So I'm not perfect is limited belief. If you think of it, look at the verbiage. I can't, I won't, I never will be. A belief, not a fact. I'm confused on that, Cliff. On what
Man,
you're
I
trying
can't.
to say. I don't know. Maybe he'll put more on that later. But
Gary,
anyway,
let me ask you a question.
go ahead.
What is like one thing that if you could, that you wish you could tell your younger self, younger version of you about wholeness and
Ooh,
about not being perfect, and what advice would you give to the 18-year-old version of you?
that's a good one. It's funny because we just spoke about this the other day on a live call I had, and I would tell him to not give up and to just keep being him. Because like when we talk about changing things, and the guy Cliff I'm talking about here, Matt, he put this thing out on his call the other day that said, so you know what we always say, if you could change something in your past, would you change it? Would you?
If I could?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, probably. Now, but he reworded it to say, if you had to change who you are right now to make your past different, would you? And I thought that was beautiful.
It is beautiful, but
Because who I am now is the man I want to be. I would not change this man for anything, so I would not go back and change anything. But I would tell myself to keep trying. Don't give up, and don't listen to the haters.
man, never give up. Never, never, no matter
But
what.
have you ever given up?
Giving
Don't
up?
say no.
No, everybody's giving up.
Right.
There's just times when your brain says it's it, you give up, but it's a matter of do you keep going and what you do next. If you give up, you just throw in the flag and you say, see you later, nothing in life will ever change and you'll never be better, right?
Right.
I mean, life is crazy and you never know what direction it's going to take you. I don't care whether you lost your dog, you lost your wife, you lost your house, doesn't matter what it is. None of us know what is coming our way. And there's as men faced with so many challenges, humans, we're all faced with challenges, and overcoming them is all choices that you make. Becoming a better version of yourself every day and having that goal written down. I've learned a lot from you about breathing techniques and journaling and writing down what happened during my day So I can look back on it and, notate, how I felt in those moments. Because controlling my emotions is, part of my, like, becoming a better person, a better version of me. Controlling my emotions a little bit better. I don't think
Gotcha.
that bad, a little bit better. So yeah, just journaling, taking notes about how I felt at certain moments where I knew I felt off. So I can try and pinpoint why I felt that way at that moment.
Okay.
A lot of things that I learned from you and a lot of things that I've learned just along the way in life. And, I've faced so many different things that have, you know, I feel like the devil is always at our doorstep, no matter who we are, where we are. The devil is always at our doorstep. And
Yes. True story.
sometimes some of us are more prone to being weak, having weaker moments or lapses in judgment, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I've been down that road and it's an ugly road. And, it took a lot for me to get from the person I was to the person I am today. And most of that is accountability,
Mhm.
being totally accountable for everything that I've done, knowing that no matter what it was, it's my fault. It is my fault. Everything stemmed during that period of my life. Everything is my fault. And I take full responsibility for it. I'll never put the blame on anybody else because it's nobody else's fault but my own. And that's it. Yeah, I know I went off on a tangent there, but
Whatever. No, that was good, and I'm that actually makes me feel good that I've helped you out in some way, shape, or form. So
Thank you
yeah,
for
thank you
sharing,
for
Matt.
that.
That was very good. Yeah.
yeah.
I have one more thing, but I want to talk to so Cliff real quick. So, all right, two things from him. So, I'm not perfect is a limiting belief, but what I think that I am perfect is a limiting belief because once you're perfect, you can't get any better. So that's stopping you. So I wouldn't say I'm not perfect. I'm always striving for perfection. I know that I will never reach it, but I'm always striving. And that is the belief that keeps me moving forward. So, and what
It's
Cliff
just
had,
like
go ahead, what's up?
it's just like wants. You could want a Ferrari, you could want a Lamborghini, you could want this, but once you have all of that, then that whole feeling of that want and working towards getting something is gone,
Okay.
and that's not good. I feel like human nature, we need something to drive us.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. We need that driving force. And what he had said that I screwed up was he said, would you trade who you are now, right now, for a better past?
A better pass?
Yeah. So it's
No.
the same question I said earlier, but I said it wrong. I butchered it.
Yeah,
What?
he worded it differently.
Much better. I butchered it, but whatever.
I would say no way, because the
No, I
best
wouldn't.
version of yourself is yet to come.
Right now is the best version of me. Tomorrow will be even better.
That's right.
Assuming I wake
Every
up. Assuming I wake up. If not, well, then hey, here it is. Get a good look at it.
Hey, at least we got it documented. Your final words.
There you go.
So it sounds like the way Cliff was using perfect, I think he was using it more as a perspective than, and it's almost like the opposite of perfect isn't really failure, but it's being authentic.
Okay.
I think I heard that somewhere. Jeez, I don't remember. But it's like when you say you're perfect, you're just putting on a mask. Is it really that you're perfect, or you're just saying you're perfect, or are you perfect only to
Obviously,
yourself? Victor, go ahead, Matt.
I'm saying obviously they're just telling themselves that because nobody's perfect, right? We already know that.
We're going to have Cliff back on as a guest soon because he has some disagreements and I'm ready to throw down with this guy. He disagrees again. He said, what's the definition of perfection? We are designed to fail. We are functioning perfectly. So failure is a part of perfection. So I do agree with him, but we will never reach that actual state of perfection. That's my thought. And if he wants to fight me on that, just I'm right, you're wrong. Is what it is.
Perfect isn't real. It's the airbrushed version of yourself that you invent when you're terrified of being judged. I think for a lot of people anyway. That's just my take on it.
All right, Cliff wins. He said, if we're not perfect, then we are saying that God created us wrong. So, Rob, since you are more of a religious man or been doing this longer than me, what is your thoughts on that?
Thoughts on what?
Shuffler said that if we're not perfect, then we are saying that God created us wrong.
If we're not perfect, God created us wrong.
We're perfect in God's eyes. Always. We're perfect in God's eyes. And that should be enough for you as a person. If you're perfect in God's eyes, you should be perfect in your eyes. No, yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'm looking up the Webster Dictionary for the definition of perfect. Hey, it's got my picture. That's weird. So the definition of perfect is without flaw or error.
So it's the closest thing to alignment, to being whole. When your actions match your values, even on the ugly days. I don't know.
I don't know either.
This whole perfect thing just got way out of hand. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So the importance is that you become whole, that you strive to become whole, that you find your flaws or you notice your flaws and you take action to become better where you're falling short. That's all I got.
Perfect
right.
is the
Rob, do you have a closing that ready or no, since we are almost at 50 minutes?
Oh,
What is
yes, I guess the story today is that we are to be a lot more like whole cheese. If we had no holes, no cracks, no funk, no sharpness, no softness, would we be cheese?
boring cheese?
Perfection is bland. All right. Wholeness is bold, just like good tasting cheese. Whole cheese is real, with its holes, with its edges, and with its stories. We want you to be a part of the thing. Log in, let us know. Come be a part of the story. Let us get to know us. Give us a shout out. Reach out. We have more to come. Thank you, Matt, so much for joining us. Your story and Gary's story is awesome. Check us out on Facebook, TikTok, and wherever else you get your news on a
Instagram.
daily best. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Whatever.
Take it.
Oh,
Take it away.
no, I was going to say Instagram and LinkedIn and everywhere, man. Come on now. And YouTube. Anyway, all right. The conversation is just the start of the Wholeness and Integration series. If you are ready to go deeper, join us on Thursdays in the Motivated Men's Group. Sign up for the Inner Circle newsletter. Next week, everybody, the new ebook will be available. Sign up for that along with the free class that I'm hosting on January 10th. Until next time, stand up, speak the truth, and stay authentic. All right, everybody.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Right. How do I do this now without getting rid of everybody?
You just go to the more and hit in live.